Ever walk on like a perfectly smooth sidewalk and wonder like who made this so flawlessly level? We are. And today's deep dive is all about like the unsung heroes of construction. Concrete finishers. We're going deep with this RoleCatcher career guide you sent, going way past the basics.
It's a field that's a lot more intricate than it might seem at first glance.
Right. And speaking of first glances, this guide starts off in an interesting way. It avoids actually using the term concrete finisher at the beginning. It's like they're trying to pique our curiosity before revealing the subject.
Absolutely. Instead of leading with the job title, it jumps right into the skills and actions involved. This approach could be a way to make you think about the profession in a new light, focusing on the core tasks before you even have a concrete image in your mind.
So what do these skilled craftspeople do all day? The What They Do section describes forming, pouring, and meticulously finishing concrete. We're talking cutting, leveling, smoothing, even using specialized techniques like chamfering, which basically means creating those beveled edges you often see on concrete steps or countertops.
It's fascinating because these actions aren't just about aesthetics. They're crucial for preventing chipping and ensuring the long-term durability of the concrete. And this ties into a much larger point. We're talking about the very foundation of our buildings and infrastructure. Sidewalks, bridges, skyscrapers, they all rely on the expertise of concrete finishers.
Talk about concrete results, right? And the guide dives into the satisfying feeling of seeing your work take shape in a tangible way. If you're someone who thrives on that kind of visible, lasting impact, this could be a really fulfilling career. Of course, like any job, it has its pros and cons.
Exactly. While the guide highlights the potential for stable job prospects and even self-employment, it also acknowledges the physical demands of the work. You're on your feet, outdoors, often dealing with heavy materials and potentially hazardous environments.
It's not a desk job, that's for sure. But for those who enjoy hands-on work and take pride in their craftsmanship, it could be a perfect match. Okay, this next part of the guide threw me for a loop. In the specialism section, it mentions building and construction knowledge multiple times, almost verbatim. I was starting to think they hit copy-paste one too many times.
That's certainly a possibility. While this repetition might be an oversight, it could also highlight a key aspect of the profession. Even though it seems highly specialized, a deep understanding of broader construction principles is essential for a concrete finisher.
So it's not enough to just be a master of concrete. You need that wider perspective of how it all fits together on a job site.
Precisely. Knowing how different building materials interact, understanding structural integrity, being aware of safety protocols, these are all crucial for a concrete finisher's success, and they speak to the interconnected nature of the construction industry as a whole.
It's like they say, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So even if you can create the smoothest concrete surface, if you don't understand how it fits into the larger structure, you're setting yourself up for problems.
And speaking of setting yourself up for success, the RoleCatcher Guide doesn't just drop you off at the job site. It delves into interview prep with a massive database of potential questions, over 120,000 to be exact.
I took a peek at some of those concrete finisher-specific questions, and they're pretty interesting. It's not just about like listing off techniques. They really dig into problem solving on the job. Like, tell me about a time you had to troubleshoot a problem during a concrete finishing project. It makes sense though, right? Things don't always go according to plan in construction, so they want to know you can think on your feet.
Exactly, and it highlights the importance of being able to clearly articulate your thought process and problem-solving strategies. Another question that stood out to me was, how do you stay up to date with the latest techniques and trends in concrete finishing? This speaks to that continuous learning aspect we talked about earlier. The field is constantly evolving, with new materials, tools, and technologies emerging.
So even though a formal degree isn't always required, being a lifelong learner is essential for a concrete finisher who wants to stay at the top of their game.
Absolutely. Attending workshops, reading industry publications, networking with other professionals, these are all valuable ways to stay current and expand your skill set.
And of course, no discussion about construction would be complete without addressing safety. The guide mentions several questions related to ensuring a safe working environment, like how do you ensure that safety protocols are followed during a project? They're really emphasizing that this isn't just about knowing your stuff, it's about being responsible and protecting yourself and others on the job site.
Absolutely. A strong safety mindset is non-negotiable in this line of work. Now, beyond specific questions, the guide also highlights the importance of being prepared for those behavioral interview questions, the ones that start with, "Tell me about a time."
Oh yeah, Those can be tricky.
They are, but they're also a valuable opportunity to showcase your skills and experience in action. Be ready to share specific examples of how you've handled challenges, worked as part of a team, and demonstrated leadership.
It's like that saying, show, don't tell.
Yeah.
Give them concrete examples of your abilities.
Exactly. Now, beyond the interview process, I want to touch on something the guide does really well, laying out potential career paths for concrete finishers.
Yeah, it's not just a one-size-fits-all kind of career, is it?
Not at all. It highlights how an entry-level concrete finisher might start by assisting more experienced colleagues, learning the ropes, mastering those foundational skills. As they gain experience and expertise, they might specialize in a particular type of finishing, like decorative concrete, or take on more responsibility, supervising a crew, or even starting their own contracting business.
So there's real potential for growth and specialization within the field.
Absolutely. And the guide provides some inspiring examples of successful concrete finishers who've carved out unique niches for themselves, showcasing the diverse career trajectories possible within this seemingly specialized field.
Okay, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to touch on something that's been weaving its way through our conversation. Technology. It's transforming almost every industry, and construction is no exception.
Absolutely, and the guide alludes to this by mentioning the importance of staying up to date with the latest techniques and trends. Concrete itself is evolving with new mixtures and additives that enhance its strength, durability, and even its aesthetic possibilities.
So we're not just talking about your grandpa's concrete anymore.
Not at all. We're talking about self-healing concrete, concrete that can purify air, even concrete that can conduct electricity.
Wow, that's incredible. So a concrete finisher needs to be adaptable not just to the physical demands of the job, but also to these rapid advancements in technology.
Exactly. And that willingness to learn, to embrace innovation is going to be essential for success in the future of this field. Now, speaking of resources for navigating this ever-evolving landscape.
RoleCatcher, it's not just a career guide, is it? It's like this whole toolkit for job seekers.
Right. It's like having a personal career coach in your pocket.
Yeah.
We've talked about the interview prep, but it goes even deeper with features like a CV and resume builder.
So they help you craft that perfect pitch for potential employers.
And they've got sections dedicated to networking, connecting with others in your field.
Because who you know is just as important as what you know, right?
Absolutely. And they've got resources for researching potential employers, understanding company cultures, even salary insights. It's about empowering job seekers to make informed decisions.
I love that. Now, before we shift gears completely from concrete finishers, I want to circle back to something we touched upon earlier, those alternate job titles. The guide mentions cement mason, concrete floor finisher, even terrazzo worker. I'll admit, I had to look up terrazzo. It's this beautiful type of flooring with decorative chips embedded in the concrete. Talk about artistry.
It is. And it highlights the fact that within the broader field of concrete work, there are all these fascinating specializations you might not even know exist. Imagine that, starting out finishing sidewalks and ending up creating intricate terrazzo designs.
That's so cool. So it's like knowing these alternate titles, these different branches of the field, it opens up your options. It's not just one path, it's a whole network of possibilities.
Precisely, and that's what I find so exciting about this deep dive. We've uncovered the hidden depths of a profession that's often overlooked. We've explored the skills, the challenges, the career paths, and even the technological advancements shaping the future of concrete work.
It's not just about pouring slabs of gray anymore.
Not at all. It's about precision, problem solving, and a commitment to craftsmanship. It's about building the foundation for our world, both literally and figuratively.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of concrete finishers, I'm left with this thought. Next time you walk across a beautifully finished concrete surface, take a moment to appreciate the skill and artistry that went into it. There's a good chance a concrete finisher made that possible, and they might just inspire you to build something amazing too.